Today, I am thrilled to be at Studio A, one of my favorite places in the stamp. In this time of great craziness, we all need to find ways to remain healthy. Art is one of those ways. So I'm going to take you to one of my favorite places. We're going to do a little art. So come on in with me to Studio A. Studio A offers courses that are amazing, that you can take non-credit courses, workshops, free workshops. They're even doing this cool DIY pickup kits. 100 people came and picked them up last week. But let me show you a few things that are in here. There's an amazing darkroom. This is the only darkroom on campus. So if you're a photographer, an aspiring photographer, you can take a photography course. You can even borrow our cameras, but there's a darkroom here. You see all this clay we're going past. It's because we have this amazing pottery studio. We've sort of de-densified in here. It is one of those places where you can do your own magic on the wheel and take advantage of that artistic bent you have. You can work with clay, great on the hands. And we have these amazing kilns. We can fire up your clay for your mug, your bowl, your beautiful vase, your teapot. One class is all about making a teapot. So before winter comes, you needed a new teapot. So come on in here. We have this studio and another studio just to make it so that it's very socially distant. But come on in and take advantage of our pottery class, kilns, and studio. Now, I'm going to take you in to the main studio, and it's one of my favorite dirty places. It'll remind you of elementary school where you could just really get busy with paint or drawing. Next door is the activities room. They teach yoga, they teach dance classes, but in here it's all about this open studio, drawing, paint, visual arts. I told you this is one of my favorite places, and in part it's my favorite because of the people who work here. Today, I get to hang out with Tara, and for many of our students who live at a distance, doing art virtually is one of the options. So all summer long, all spring, Tara was doing art from home, and I was joining in. And here this fall, we're gonna do it again. So Tara, tell people a little bit about you and about Studio A.
So I'm Tara, I use she, her pronouns, and I manage Studio A and the gallery. So what Studio A does is we're a creative space for self-expression. We offer regular classes and workshops, and you saw our pottery studio and darkroom as you came in. You're in our large studio where we host a lot of our kind of everyday events. So a lot of painting classes, drawing classes, we've had guitar in here. But obviously we've changed around our operations a little bit during the pandemic. So instead we've also created these DIY grab and go kits, like the one that you have, Marsha, which is our canvas paint kit.
It's great.
8x10 canvas. Yeah, you get your own paintbrush, selection of 5 paints. Yep. And your canvas. And you can work on your DIY kit here in the large studio. We have a social distancing occupancy, or you can just take it to go and work on it in your dorm. And today we have a very nice turtle design that one of our students designed for us. She's usually our guided paint instructor, and she works with us when we do paint nights, which we're not offering this fall.
I love this piece because it would be perfect if you had a residence hall room or an apartment and you were trying to fix it up a little bit so that it didn't seem as lonely. And what I love about just the act of getting the brush and starting to paint, it sort of makes your mind feel better. And I totally appreciate that. We've been so lucky to have these DIY kits, Tara, because in some ways, if you want to take them and do them with a friend in your residence hall or back home at your apartment, you can do that and have a great conversation about the meaning of life while you paint or while you design. And in some ways, it makes us all a little closer when we do something together, or it gives you some time for reflection.
I agree. I think that's the beauty of Studio A, is that we're a space, like, we don't really care what your artistic skill is. We're here for total beginners, for people who don't necessarily see themselves as artists and who just want to create something and relax and just find a space to like really enjoy kind of that meditative moment. And maybe you'll make something that you can hang up in your dorm.
I think about in this time where you feel so isolated and or alone in your own place, that in some ways, even to have a great conversation on Zoom with one of your friends who's at a distance would be a great thing.
So we have the kits that you can pick up and you can just do this on your own, but we also do have kind of virtual events, virtual versions of our in-person events like the one you had, Marsha. And we can have someone lead you through a guided paint. We can have someone show you how to paint your pet. And those can be done totally over Zoom with the supplies you have at home. We have a couple things that can be done totally.
You know, that could be really cool too, with like a student group that you're a part of, right? To do a Zoom workshop where you're all painting the same or doing the same DIY, but you're doing it together as a way to build team. One of the things that I also like is that sometimes our most significant learning comes outside of the classroom, right? And so one of those options you were talking about was the classes that you can take here. How do I sign up for those classes? How do I engage in those, you know, like a pottery class, photography class, maybe a drawing class?
So you can go to our website, stamp.umd.edu/Studio A. And from there, we have a registration link for all of our kind of fall classes. We offer classes twice a year in the fall semester and then in the spring semester. So many of our fall classes are underway. We have a few, we have some in-person classes, as you know, the pottery classes and our photo classes, but we also have virtual classes, which we just started this fall. So if you want to take a dance class, we have one starting later this semester, or a photography workshop. So yeah, you can visit our registration page and see all of the details about what we have to offer.
You know, you're an artist, but you're also a person who takes in art in so many different places. Can you tell me some of your favorite places to take in art?
I love actually looking at the CAP collection here in Stamp. So that is managed by the gallery, and it's a program where a group of students chooses the works that the Stamp collects every other year. And it's just so powerful because you can really tell like that the work is of its time and of the students' concerns of the time, because they're choosing this artwork for the student body. So I love those pieces, and I definitely recommend if you check it out. There's work in the West Lounge, all throughout the first floor, some stuff on the second floor as well. And you can also look more at the CAP collection on the gallery's website.
You know what I love about the CAP collection too is that you and I have had a chance to go to New York and Baltimore and Washington to look at really amazing art in studios and in galleries. And our collection really catches people often at the beginning of their career. But you and I know that one of our pieces, shortly after the summer, one of our artists did the cover of Time magazine. And suddenly a piece that we have was worth so much more financially. But for me, that piece that he did, that we have, really speaks to Black Lives Matter at its infancy.
Yes, the Titus Kafar piece is called Brown Bell Garner. And they purchased it in 2015, and it seems like it's become even more relevant since then, as this country continues to engage with issues of police violence.
Tara, it's been a joy to spend time with you. I have to tell you that I know my pieces could use some additional work, but I wanted to show you that I do have my terrapin in my fabulous Maryland color pieces here, but mine is kind of on the plain way. I want to show you one that somebody else did that is even cooler than that, check out all of the additional flourish to this design, which is great, which all comes to tell you that everybody can do this, right? You, me, your roommate, whatever it is, but taking time for art has a way of restoring us. So take a class, get involved in one of our DIY things, do something with your hands, but come into the stamp and sit and study or talk with a friend or have a coffee and look at the array of fine art that's around you that may speak to you about your own identity or the issues you hold most dear. And I think that's what's beautiful about the stamp. Art's a piece of who we are every single day. And we're so blessed to have Tara here in Studio A. Lots of students work down here. Others are engaged in our coursework. Do your DIY. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.